Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to this week's Midweek 180. Now, for the first time in what feels like a very long time, I am at home this week after a very busy few weeks away. Again, apologies for not putting out a video on Monday, but I think if you watched last week's Midweek 180 and followed me on social, it was my birthday the weekend just gone. I wanted to say a massive thank you to all of the lovely birthday messages that I had. And for those of you who guessed, yes, it was the big 5-0. But mentally, I'm still in my teens. Anyway, I have got a bit of a down week this week in terms of time to do some admin. It's Festival of Speed in just a couple of weeks' time, so I've got lots and lots of planning around what I'm going to do during that event. I'm there for all 4 days. I did some amazing filming on Monday with something super exciting I can share with you, but not until next Friday. And also, I've got lots of editing to do after my GT Tours tour of France and Spain. So super busy, even though I am at home. And there's a couple of films I'd quite like to make this week as well. But if you've not seen one of these before, this is my midweek update where I bring you my news, views and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. I'm going to put 180 seconds in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And that's it, a very simple format. So without further ado, let's get cracking with this week's Midweek 180 as I have much to discuss. I shall start my timer. Now then, leader of the pack last week was Mark C. Well done, mate. That's 2 on the bounce. Joined in the magnificent 7 by Francois G, Leanne Jackson, Malcolm Brew, Paul Mead, Mr. Mawson and Ed Moses. So whoever puts the first comment this week, you'll be my leader of the pack next week, and the first 7 comments will be in my magnificent 7. Where are you and what you're doing? Well, that was Pete James, who was on holiday in Cayamilar. Bound to have said that wrong, in Mallorca. But wherever you are right now and whatever you're doing, put it in the comments below and I'll give you a shout out next week. Last week's question was, had you seen Top Gun? Because I was actually at Top Gun when the Midweek 180 came out. Oh my days, what a film. Massive Top Gun fan. It exceeded every expectation. I had the hairs on the back of my neck standing up within the first couple of minutes of the film. And I think I probably kind of shed a tear about 5 times. Brilliant, brilliant film, and I must go and see it again. So if you haven't seen it, get out there and watch it, and make sure, if you can, watch it at IMAX. This week's question was basically on the ever-increasing price of fuel. I was filling my car up earlier on in the week, and I went to a pay at the pump, and I'm filling the pump at my car with a pump behind me, and the nozzle started not working, and I'm like, come on, it's not full yet, what's going on? I thought it was broken, and I turned around, and for the first time ever, I'd hit the £99 limit for paying at the pump, and I'm like, oh my God, and the car wasn't full. What's your experiences so far? Has it put you off driving? But it certainly made me think, I did a long trip and I used a whole tank of fuel, and it made me think, wow, that trip cost me 100 quid. F1 heads to Azerbaijan for the Baku Grand Prix this weekend. Always one of my favourites. But 2 lots of new car news this week. The first one was actually probably back into last week, but finally we've got to see a production version of the Mercedes AMG Project One. First released in 2017. It was always going to be based on Lewis Hamilton's F1 car. They said it's going to be an F1 car for the road, or certainly have the same powertrain. The 1.6 litre V6 turbo unit from the Mercedes Formula One car with an MG UK. It was then going to have some electric batteries. So this car has 4 electric motors in total, 2 on the front wheels and 2 at the back end of the car. The performance figures are pretty ridiculous. It's got over 1,100 horsepower. It does 0 to 124 miles an hour in 6 seconds and a top speed of 217 miles an hour. It will do 16 miles an hour on pure EV range if you wanted to take it to the shops. But for me, this car is all about the engineering challenge of using a Formula One car engine. Formula One car engines, they redline at 11,000 RPM. Well, this will redline at 11,000 RPM, a bit less than the Formula One car. The Formula One car idles at 6,000 RPM. So they needed to get this down to kind of 1,000 to maybe 1,500 RPM. But also a Formula One car engine, they are seized when they're cold. So you have to warm all the fluids before you can even start the engine. So there's loads of work been done on that engine. So it's not really a Formula One engine for the road, but it's pretty close. I knew I was going to run out of time today. But yeah, it's a phenomenal car. I mean, it's clearly very niche. I think it's just for me, it's that showcasing of technology. But I would love to find out more about that car, especially the actual adaptations they needed to do to the engine to make it something that you could drive to the shops in. The other new car news this week, very quickly, Cupra announced 3 new cars in their lineup this week. The Urban Rebel, which is this. Now, I've been really looking forward to seeing what the Urban Rebel looks like, because the concept car looked like this. And boy, do I wish they made it look like that. But it does look like a very cool car. And then they've also got the Terramar, which is a plug-in hybrid, and the Tavascan, which is a full BEV. But Cupra, for me, are producing some of the best looking cars right now, and I can't wait to get my hands on any of those 3 cars. And then the last one, this Friday's video at 6, is the first part in my 2-part series from my GT Tours tour in my new Boxster 718 GTS. In part 1, I drive basically from here in Chichester all the way to the Spanish Grand Prix and taking some of the best driving roads ever with my big brother Stephen and a whole bunch of incredible supercars. And that goes up on Friday at 6. And then I'm still editing it, but on Monday will be part 2. And in part 2, basically for me, they're the 3 best roads I've ever driven, maybe actually 4 great roads. There's a road that is commonly known as Jeremy Clarkson's best ever road in the world. That was pretty special. Col de Torini was pretty special. And then the Red Rock Road. Honestly, some phenomenal roads. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to edit that film yet, but that's Monday. So yeah, lots and lots of good stuff coming towards you. But I hope you enjoyed that one. I know I've gone over a little bit, but I knew I would. I actually had some new cars to talk about, which is excellent. Let me know any of your fuel pains. What's the most you paid for fuel? In France, by the way, I think the most we paid for fuel while we were on tour was €2.22 for super unleaded, which made me wince. It was that expensive. But ho-hum needs must. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next video, which is this Friday at 6 for part 1 of my GT Tours coverage. Honestly, some of the best driving roads I have experienced. And you get to see Lady P for the first time being used in anger. Anyway, I'll see you on that one. You take care, guys. Drive safe.